Hi, I'd like to welcome everybody to the Baldwin County Board of Education meeting this evening. We'd like to open it up with prayer. Mr. Myrick, will you say the prayer for us?
Lord, we come to you today. We thank you for this county. Thank you for our children and our personnel. We just ask that you will continue to keep us safe, watch over us. We pray for that protective dawn, Lord. We just ask that, as we have so many things happening across the world and in our country, we just ask that your calm spirit will come over us, Lord, and we'll all just be able to go on. We just ask, Lord, that you forgive us where we sin, and that you'll be with us, Lord, in everything we do and say. We need pleasing unto you. In Christ's name we ask. Amen.
Amen. If you'll stand for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I believe we have a commendation tonight. Riddick.
Board, you may remember last board meeting we honored 3 schools who were given a program of distinction. We have now been notified that we have 1 more school, so this evening we are recognizing Robertsdale Elementary. The Alabama School Counseling Program of Distinction recognizes school counseling programs that demonstrate an exemplary level of implementation of a comprehensive data-driven school counseling program. The application process is an all-inclusive collection of 15 components that align with the comprehensive counseling and guidance model for Alabama public schools and the American School Counselor Association national model. Schools who earn the Program of Distinction designation will be eligible for a RAMP award, which is awarded by the ASCA as the highest national recognition for a school counseling program. There are 2 counselors with the Robertsdale Elementary program, and that is Shannon Rubio and Serena Forrest. We also have Principal Will Duncan here tonight.
I'll just say.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to thank the board for all their support for what we do. My counseling team is invaluable to me and to the students to make sure we're meeting their needs, not just educationally, but as people and helping them grow into the citizens that we want them to be. So I appreciate your support, and I want to publicly thank Ms. Forrest and Ms. Rubio for all that they do to help our students. So thank you.
You ready? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank y'all.
Thank you and congratulations. All right, we need to approve the minutes from September 21st, 2023. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes?
I move to approve the minutes from September the 21st meeting.
Second. Motion by Mr. Christenberry, second by Mr. Johnson. Any discussion about the minutes? All in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. Okay, we do have a few people that signed up to speak. Before you come up, just remember there's the 3-minute limit, and if it's in concern with a personnel person or somebody that works with us, if they would not say their name because they're probably not here to defend themselves. Otherwise, we'd love to hear from you. So our first person is, and if I mispronounce your name, I'm so sorry, Thermone Young, if you'll come forward. And if you'll tell us where you're from.
Yes, my name is Thurman Young. I live at 707 South Dobson Avenue in Bay Minette. I was a graduate of Douglasville High School, and I went on to, as a matter of fact, I am a retired educator. 42 years with the Syracuse City School District in Syracuse, New York. So as I come back to my community, I've been involved with with organization, and we want to first of all thank the superintendent and the board for all they've done, with the I think the school is coming in Loxley, so Baldwin Prep. Thank you. Very, very good. I want to thank you for that. I think this is going to be a game changer for the kids coming up and trying to get the workforce that Baldwin County needs. Now, we do have one concern we'd like to address with you, if it's okay. The concern is for the campus that is already located in Bay Minette. We're trying to find out what are the plans for it, and if you already have the plans, would you share them? So any information that the community is looking for, we may be able to disseminate that in a correct way and kill all the rumors. And if it's not already decided, we were asking to have a seat at the table to work with you what you're going to do with it. Now, this organization that I've joined is called the Men of Coalition. It's a nonprofit organization. We just took, I think, 30 kids to South Alabama on Tuesday night for a football game. We pay for all the expenses to have them transported there. What we're doing is trying to work with these young people in the community to give them skills so that they will be able to become productive citizens, even if it's outside of this community. Hopefully some will do as I did, come back and try to get involved with the community and try to make changes. Anything that you can do to help us in getting us involved with what the campus that's going to, I don't know what's going to happen with it, but that's what we're asking for. We're trying to get information so that we will be able to see what we can do to make this a better and a smoother transition. Thank you.
Well, I'll go ahead and just speak to that real quick.
Thank you.
I do know that, and thank you for your kind words. 42 years in education, that's pretty stellar. But,
Thank you.
You know, I'm 48, so I don't know. I missed that 42 mark. But a lot of times when we vacate a facility, we might discuss with the board what we plan on doing with it. You're talking about the North Baldwin Center for Technology?
Yes.
I'm assuming.
Yes.
Of course, a lot of times if we can find a use for it educationally or in some manner that services what we're already doing with some of our personnel, we try to do that. Sometimes things are in such bad shape, we might just take it down and keep the property and see what we want to do. I know that that we won't be housing technology there when the Baldwin Prep opens.
Okay.
But I'll be honest with you, we're not sure really what we're going to do with it. We hadn't got that far down the road because we got a South Technology Center too.
Yes.
And we're just not sure what we're going to do, but I do appreciate you sharing your thoughts. I know a lot of times as far as going to the community and asking them what they would like to do with the building first, you know, we have to decide what we want to do with it. And then if it's something that maybe we can get the community involved, we do that.
Well, we certainly would appreciate
Absolutely.
anything that you could do to involve us.
Well, thank you.
When you make that decision.
Thank you. We appreciate the manner you came and asked. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Have a good evening.
What was the name of your organization?
The Men of Coalition, Men of the Coalition. I'm going to leave a card
Oh,
for someone in
good,
case
good.
they need to get in touch with us. We'd be more than happy to answer any questions.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next person was Rebecca Watson. Let us know where you're from.
Hi, I'm from Fairhope, and I live at 124 Fig Avenue. I'm here today to talk to you about the counseling guidance plan. I am a mom here. I have one child in the public school, and I have one child in private school. And so for my daughter who's in public school, we moved here a few years ago from Washington State. So I've spent a lot of time researching curriculum and the guidance plan, mostly because of why we moved here. And I just noticed some things in here that I wanted to kind of clarify. And I first want to say that I love the public school here. My daughter's at Fairhope High School. The teachers are amazing. The principal is amazing. And I'm very happy that she's there. And Mr. Tyler, I've read a few articles about you saying that we don't have a gender identity or a gender affirmation policy. But when I look through the comprehensive counseling program, it completely contradicts what you're saying. And so as a parent, I'm very confused.
I am too.
You are too. Okay,
Yes.
good. Okay, so how do we, because when I go through this, it's mentioned many, many times in this guidance program. And so how do we, as a Baldwin County, if we're taking our direction from the American Counseling Association, the Alabama Counseling Association, and it trickles down to us, how do we have a different policy than they have? How can we do that?
Well, I'd be glad for Renee Carter, who is with elementary, and Joe Sharp, the secondary, and also Sarah Young. We don't necessarily align with the national organization.
Okay.
That's not something that we, there were some things that were printed that we discovered last summer, that were not something that wasn't approved. And so we have worked on that. And I'll let Ms. Young, who is our counselor, kind of address that if you'd like maybe a further explanation. Because as far as if we're allowing people to have that gender identification, I'm not allowing it under my watch. If that, is what you were saying.
Yes, but like when I'm reading through this, it says that if the counselors don't do it, they could be fired from their jobs. Like they are mandated to do it. So,
No.
I mean, I'm not just here I'm like speaking on behalf of the teachers because once the counselors get mandated, then it will go to the teachers, and then it will go to the students. So, as a community, how do we unify and we all work together to make sure that this doesn't happen?
Sarah or Renee?
Board members, the book does not mandate. First of all, it was from 2022, 2023.
And that is the only one that we have, right?
The last few pages of the book reference the American Counseling Association ethical guidelines, and that's the only section that referenced gender identity. It was pulled when we were made aware of it in January. It was pulled, it was in the book as a reference. There's nothing in there mandating that counselors take gender identity into account. All of our counselors have been instructed on Alabama law, and I believe that they comply with it. So,
well, I don't agree with that, and I'd be happy to. I'm over my time limit. I don't want to take up more time, but it's mentioned in here 26 times. Gender is mentioned in here 26 times. And if there's another document, I would love to see it. Is there another one that's up? Do we not update this every year? Where is it? Because maybe it's different, and
board
I'm
members,
wrong.
If you recall, Patrice Davis retired on July 31st, and the new counselor who's going to be in charge, the counseling supervisor working under Mr. McRae, started. She's actually on this board agenda, so she's been working on the handbook. And again, it's mentioned in the back of the book 23 times as part of the American Counseling Association ethical guidelines.
So the new edition has not come out yet. 23 and 24.
Okay. So when do we expect to see that? I guess, or does that just take time? It takes time.
Okay. But I can assure you this: no counselor is going to be fired under my watch.
Okay.
Because, like she said, we go by Alabama law, and we go by the gender identification that you were born under.
So then how did it even get from the American Counseling Association to the Alabama Counseling Association down to Baldwin County? How did it even get into Alabama whatsoever?
That's a state level mandate. That's a state level mandate, and it's based on the Alabama Counselors Association. That those are the ethical guidelines that they use to guide them. That's how it got in the book.
So I'm saying mandated, and you're saying it's not a mandate, it's a suggestion. Is that what it is? Okay, well, those are two very different words. That means two completely different things. So as a parent, I'm just trying to understand because.
Our board has never mandated anything. We follow Alabama law.
Okay, okay.
And the
All
new
right.
edition will be out. So the lady hopefully will be approved tonight. And all of these things will be put together and be sent out to counselors and for people to have access to. Yeah, but I
Okay.
do appreciate you bringing that to our attention because there's been a lot of social media out there about what we are supposedly supporting, and that's old data, but yet we get kind of nailed to the cross because everybody doesn't have all their facts. And so I appreciate you coming and asking.
Yeah,
I really do.
because it does get confusing, and as parents, like, we're inundated
It can be.
with information in all these different areas, and so we don't know where to look, where to turn, and
Well, turning to us, I appreciate
It's-
that.
yeah.
Trusting social media, no.
yes, well, yeah, and I don't do that, but
Okay.
I will look forward to reading the new.
Thank you.
guide-
Thank you for
guidelines.
bringing our
Thank you so
attention.
much.
Thank you. Charles Bayer.
Thank you.
Come.
I own a home at 114 Echo Lane in Fairhope. All three of my children graduated from Fairhope High School, and I do share Ms. Watson's concern. And I also thank you for agreeing that we will not follow the route of the American Counseling Association in affirming children's mistaken gender identity. I would appreciate it if you would let us know when the new counseling guidelines are ready so we can review them then.
Right. And usually, Chaz, we put those up on our website. Yeah.
Well, if you would let us know so we, trust but verify,
We appreciate you.
to
Thank you.
quote President Reagan.
Thank
Very
you.
good.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
sharing, too.
Thank you. All right. Do we have any amendments to the agenda?
Yes, ma'am, Ms. Lindsay. Amendments to the agenda. Delete number 5, amended personnel, professional agreement. Amend number 10, leave of absence of personnel. Number 11, retirement and resignation of personnel. Number 12, transfer, intent to transfer of personnel. Number 13, employment of personnel. Add number 15, suspension of personnel unpaid. Number 16, termination of personnel. Number 17, teams contracts. Number 18, approval of 2024-2025 school calendar.
Do I hear a motion? I hear a motion to approve the amendments.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Johnson, second by Mr. Christenberry. Any discussion about the amendments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, amendments accepted.
Agenda item 1, bids proposals. The superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve the low bidders meeting specifications for goods and services for the system as stipulated in the agenda exhibit.
Motion by Mr. Johnson, second by Ms. Bradley. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Just for the audience's sake, all of these agenda items are discussed on a Tuesday night work session. That's why we don't entertain any speakers on Tuesday night, because it can get rather lengthy. And then Thursday night, unless the board has follow-up questions, we read through the agenda for their approval or disapproval. Agenda item 2, Public Works. The superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve the low bidder meeting specifications for the Public Works bid as stipulated in the agenda exhibit.
So move.
Motion by Mr. Christenberry, second by Mr. Johnson. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Agenda item 3, approval of contract. The superintendent recommends the adoption of a motion to approve the extension of contractual services with Engineered Cooling Services for an additional year by entering into an agreement in a form similar to the attached as stipulated in the agenda exhibit.
Motion by Mr. Bradley, second by Mr. Myrick. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Agenda item 4, approval of contracts Coastal Makers LLC. The superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve the contracts with Coastal Makers LLC to be paid from after-school child care funds as stipulated in the agenda exhibit.
Motion by Ms. Kirby, second by Mr. Johnson. Any discussion?
Hey, I'm going to abstain because of the possible conflicts.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Agenda item 6, transfer of guaranteed contribution and use agreement with the City of Bay Minette. The superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to authorize the superintendent to enter into the transfer of guaranteed contribution and use agreement in a form substantially similar to the attached in an amount of $215,000 with the City of Bay Minette as stipulated in the agenda exhibit.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Johnson, second by Mr. Christenberry. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Agenda item 7, approval of letter of engagement, Adams and Reese LLP. The superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to authorize the superintendent and general counsel to execute the letter of agreement engagement with Adam and Reese LLP as stipulated in the agenda exhibit.
So move.
Motion by Mr. Christenberry, second by Ms. Bradley. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Motion carries.
Agenda item 8, memorandum of agreement between the Baldwin County Board of Education and Baldwin County Juvenile Detention Center. The superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to authorize and direct the superintendent or his designee to execute and deliver the 2023-2024 memorandum of agreement between the Baldwin County Board of Education and the Baldwin County Juvenile Detention Center in a form similar to the attached as stipulated in the agenda exhibit.
Motion by Ms. Kirby, second by Mr. Johnson. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Agenda item 9, AASB 2023 State Convention and Delegate Assembly. The superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve the selection of 5 + 1 alternate to represent the board as voting delegates at the AASB 2023 Convention and Delegate Assembly as stipulated in the agenda exhibit.
So move.
Motion by Mr. Christenberry, second by Mr. Johnson. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Agenda item 10, leave of absence of personnel. The superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve the leave of absence of personnel as amended and provided to board members under separate cover.
Motion by Ms. Bradley, second by Mr. Johnson. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Agenda item 11, retirement and resignations of personnel. The superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve the retirement and resignation of personnel as amended and provided to board members under separate cover.
Motion by Mr. Johnson, second by Mr. Myrick. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Agenda item 12, transfer intent to transfer personnel. The superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve the transfer intent to transfer personnel as amended and provided to board members under separate cover.
Motion by Mr. Myrick, second by Mr. Johnson. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Agenda item 13, employment of personnel. Superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve the employment of personnel as amended and provided to board members under separate cover.
Motion by Mr. Myrick, second by Ms. Kirby. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Agenda item 14, extra work for extended periods. The superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve the extra work of personnel as provided to board members under separate cover.
Motion by Mr. Johnson, second by Mr. Myrick. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Agenda item 15, suspension of personnel unpaid. Superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve the unpaid suspension of personnel as provided to board members under separate cover.
Motion by Mr. Myrick, second by Mr. Johnson. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Agenda item 16, termination of personnel. The superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve the termination of classified personnel in accordance with Act Number 2011-270, Students First Act, as provided to board members under separate cover.
So move.
Motion by Mr. Christenberry, second by Mr. Myrick. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Agenda item 17, teams contracts. The superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve the teachers' contracts and contract terms as listed and to authorize the superintendent to take all necessary action in furtherance thereof as provided to board members under separate cover.
Motion by Mr. Myrick, second by Ms. Kirby. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Agenda item 18, approval of 2024-2025 school calendar. I'm sure parents are waiting on this. The superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve option B as the 2024-2025 school calendar based on the voting results from local schools and organizations as stipulated in the agenda exhibit.
Okay. Motion by Ms. Kirby. Motion by Ms. Bradley, second by Ms. Kirby. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I was kind of hoping for C, but anyway.
Agenda item 19, consideration of releases. This item is placed on the agenda to provide the board an opportunity for consideration of releases.
I move that as requested by the Alabama Attorney General's Office and the Alabama Department of Education, that we authorize the superintendent and board president to execute the legal releases in a form substantially similar to those releases provided to board members under separate cover. I make such motion in light of the fact that it is the board's understanding that it was never a named party in the lawsuit subject to the releases, and that the board is not receiving any value or monetary consideration in exchange for entering into said releases.
Motion by Mr.
I move that as requested by the...
Motion by Mr. Christenberry, second by Ms. Kirby. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
One thing, that's all I have, Ms. Lindsay, but I do want to say to those who come and speak, I mean, it was refreshing to listen to people that want to address the board that don't have some personal animosity or anger built up inside of them. I mean, these folks work awful hard. They represent you and the children in Baldwin County, and we're always going to try to make the best conscientious decision for everyone involved. That's why this county is so overrun, because people do their research and want to come here for a quality education, and thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely.
Many stories. But I just want to say to those three, thank you for the manner that you come and address the board. It's much appreciated.
Certainly is. Thank you.
Mr. Todd, I want to say thank you for coming. I mean, it's good to look out and have a group of people here. That's exciting. That's participating in this process, and it makes me feel good that we don't have an empty house. Thank y'all for everyone for being here. It's a long way to Bay Minette, isn't it? If you're on that end of the county, but thank you so much for being here tonight. I'm sorry for my long motion, but I had to do that.
It's part of the deal, isn't it?
That's right. Thank you. Amen.
That's all I have.
All right. Any more comments? All right. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Okay. Motion by Mr. Morgan, second by Ms. Kirby. Thank you.